Hello and welcome to Uniform Forces. So in today's video, we are going to take up the rest of the points from the detailed application form. So in the last video, we discussed what are the probable questions that can be asked in the interview. Okay, so we discussed in very detail. So if you haven't watched that video, you can watch it through the I-link. And as I told in previous video that DF holds very high importance in the interview. Many times it happens that the entire interview goes on the DF itself. And on an average around 40 to 45% of the questions are asked from DF directly. So that's where the importance of DF lies. Okay, now let's start today's video. So in the last video I have done up to point number 8, that is community. Now moving on to point number 9, it is about the educational qualifications. So in this you have been asked the marks you had in your 10th, 12th and graduation, and then the year of passing, the subjects you had, the school or institution from where you completed your graduation or 10th and 12th, and the name of your board or university. So in this, first of all, they may ask you what were the subjects you had in your 10th and 12th class and what were your favorite subjects, and if you had scored low or high, then what were the reasons behind it, what you did to improve your marks, and then your favorite teachers may also be asked. They may ask you about the schools, like there is Sarvodaya Vidyalaya, there is Rajkiya Pratibha Vikas Vidyalaya. So what are these schools, what kind of schools these are, and under which I would say government they come, like state government or central government, what kind of education is provided there, and what are the facilities over there, and what things that requires improvement in the school system. So they may ask you such kind of questions. For 12th class also similar questions on the similar line can be asked, but a few more can be added. For example, why did you choose particularly humanities or science or commerce? What were your reasons? And why did not you pursue them further on, like in your graduation or later on? Why are you coming in the CAPF when you can pursue them, when you can pursue higher studies in those subjects? Such kind of questions are very obvious. Then from the graduation, from graduation they may ask you like, tell us about your college, when was it established, what are the different courses provided over there, what is the seat intake in your college, and then what are the facilities, the library facility, internet facility, and they will definitely ask you questions about the subjects, the favorite subjects you had in your graduation. For example, if I am a mechanical engineer, then they ask me tell me how the train Vande Bharat is different from the regular trains, how does it work? So the engine, the working of engine, that may be asked. And then if people have done electrical engineering, they may be asked what is the difference between LED, LCD. Such kind of questions are very obvious, and they are on practical lines, they are of practical applications. So make sure that all the things which you see around, for example, the automated gates in the metro, how a metro works, how the token system works, and how a fan runs, how the light works. So these are very simple, very basic questions, and basic scientific theorems also you need to, you need to go through them if you are a science student. And then they may also ask you like, tell me, you have done physics or you are a mechanical engineer, so what can be your contribution as a mechanical engineer or as a physicist in the forces of your choice. So such kind of questions can also be asked. Be prepared for them, prepare them, these questions in a detailed manner, so that you can be quite confident while answering them during the interview. Now let's move on to point number H, 9 H. This is whether you possess NCC B or C certificate. So I did not have NCC then, but then questions can be asked. For example, what is NCC? What is its motto? When was it established? And is it part of Army, Air Force or Navy, or is it helping these defense forces? And how it is helping the camps you had? What was your experience? What have been your learnings from it? Okay, so such questions can be asked. Now let's move on to next point, like point number I, whether you are an ex-serviceman. So I think most of you will not be ex-servicemen, so I think I'll skip that point. After that, are you a civilian central government servant? Then in this point, if you are a servant, then if you are a government servant, then you can mark it yes, and then the questions can be asked about your roles and responsibilities, your challenges, the duties you fulfill over there, how you overcome your challenges over there, and why are you not pursuing your future in that particular job or service. Then let's move on to point number 10. Point number 10 is very important. Most of you have doubts, many doubts in this point, like what should be the force preferences, what are the different aspects of different forces, the family life, the lifestyle, and so and so. So I'll be answering those questions later on, but let me put some more important questions over here from this particular point. So first of all, they'll ask you why you have filled the preference in this particular fashion or in this particular order. Like for example, if BSF first, then why it is first, ITP second, then why is it so, and if CRPF is last, then why it is so. So such questions can be asked. So be prepared for them. And then, you know, suppose if a person is from Himalayan region like Uttarakhand or Arunachal Pradesh, and if he or she is filling CISF as his or her first preference, then there will be an obvious question like, when you have seen SSB and ITP working over your region, then why are you selecting CISF as your first preference? So such questions are very obvious. So be prepared for these questions and for the counter questions as well. Apart from it, I want to tell you that please go through all the forces. What are their responsibilities, domains, where are they working, and when the different forces were established, their organization structure, their contribution when these forces were raised. Such kind of questions can be asked, especially about the forces which you have filled as your first or last force. Okay, apart from it, there are some other important agencies, for example the National Investigation Agency, CBI, NSG, SPG, and what are their roles and responsibilities, why were they established. And I understand that many of their operations are covert or secret, but then whatever information is available on the public domain, the basic information, I think you should need to go through that, because you know, in my interview also question was asked from NIA, like when already the CBI was working, then why we need to establish the NIA. Okay, so moving on to next, this is point number 11, were you ever employed? So if you were employed, then again the questions will be on similar patterns, like as I have told in point number 9J, that is about civilian central government. So the questions can be, what were your responsibilities, roles in your organization, what post did you hold, and then what were the challenges you faced, how did you overcome them, what was your salary, how was you utilizing that salary, and why are you not pursuing it further, etc., etc. Now moving on to point number 12, this is about place of birth. So the questions will be on similar lines as I have told you in point number 6. So that is from the previous video, you can check it. And there I have told what are the probable questions on that point. Now moving on to point number 13, this is, you know, a lot of details you have to fill in. For example, all the examinations you undertook, the year or month of examination, then your roll number, whether you appeared at that examination, about interview, and whether you were finally appointed or recommended for that or not. So again, this is very important because, you know, this was your history. You need to be aware of what you were doing, what examinations you were taking part in. So the questions can be like, why did you fail in previous examination and how did you overcome them? What all steps did you take? And what is the difference now when you have cleared the examination? And they may also ask you, see, if you have filled for civil services, for CAPF, and for other different examination, they may ask you that why have you given so many examinations? Are you not clear about your aims, about your goals? So be prepared for such kind of questions. Then they may also give you a situation that, okay, if given a chance, which one will you join, army or CAPF, and the reasons for it. And then they may also ask you, see, if you have given many SSBs, then they may ask you that what are the different academies or entries available to be appointed as a commissioned officer in the forces, and what are the roles and responsibilities of Air Force, Army, Navy, what have been their contribution. And they may also ask you about some important wars like 1971, 1999, etc. After this, let's move on to point number 15. I'm skipping 14 point because I think every one of us have marked it as no. So let's move on to point number 15. So in this, you know, basic information about your family, mainly about your parents. So name of your father. So the questions can be asked like, what is the profession of your father or your mother? And for example, if your father is a teacher, so the questions can be asked, what are the challenges in education sector, what the government is doing, tell me a few schemes about that. Such kind of questions are very obvious. And what are your opinions, what are your suggestions to tackle these challenges or, you know, obstacles in this particular field. And then you know, we have filled about the state to which father or mother originally belongs. So, you know, some basic questions can be asked about them as well. For example, if your father belongs to Chhattisgarh, so questions can be put like, why Chhattisgarh is so famous, or why the defense forces are deployed over there around the year, like there is Naxalite problem. So they may ask you questions from Naxalism as well. Okay, so now let's move on to next point. This is point number 16. So in this you have to fill what all Indian languages you know, you can speak, write or read. And I see very less probable questions on these. So basic questions like what is the origin of the language, what is the script of this language, how many people in India and abroad use this language, such kind of questions can be asked. I don't see any more questions coming from this point. Now let's move on to next point number 17. So point number 10, the preferences of the force, and then point number 17. I think these are the two most important points or information from the detailed application form. So make sure that you do not skip. Make sure that you have a thorough preparation on these points. So first of all, this is point number A, prizes, medals and scholarship. So they may first ask you that in which field or for what purpose were you given this, what was your role in that, what special thing you did that you were selected for this. And then if you have been provided with any scholarship, then they may ask you about that scholarship, what kind of scholarship the government is providing. There is sector scheme scholarship, there is sponsor scheme scholarship. What is the difference between the two? What are the examples for each? And then they can ask about the scheme itself. After that, if you have given medal or prizes for certain competition, for example for drawing, for singing, for sketching, then they may ask you about that particular thing, like tell me what is sketching, what are different kind of sketching, what kind of sketching do you perform, are you still pursuing with that, are you still continuing that. So prepare these questions. Now next, moving on to point number B, this is about team game sports. So whatever games you have written in this, for example badminton, volleyball, basketball, you need to go through the rules of the game. Then what are the different terminologies used over there, what are the names of national and international players, which player is your favorite and why, and then the recent tournaments, the recent changes in the games, etc., the achievements of India in that particular game. After that, this is about hiking and mountaineering. So where all have you gone for hiking or mountaineering? How was the experience? How did you plan? Who were all in your team? And what have been your learnings in this? So these questions can be asked. After that, point number C is about position of distinct leadership. This is again very important because you need to have some leadership qualities within you. Now if you have been a project leader, so they may ask you like what was the project all about and what was your role in it, what was the role of your team, what are the challenges or failures you faced and how did you overcome them. As a leader, what did you do to boost up the morale of your team? Such questions can be asked. Now moving on forward, this is about extracurricular activities. So this is again very important because in this your interest and hobbies are to be written. So if you have a hobby of reading books and novels, then they may ask you what all novels and books have you read, what are the famous authors, national and international both, then what are your favorite novels and why it is your favorite. Okay, such questions can be asked. Then how the novel reading is helping you, how will it help you in the forces itself, how will you make use of it. And if you have any other extracurricular activity, for example you love to listen to music, then they may ask you what kind of songs you listen, what is the difference between classical, rocky, indie and all these kinds of music. So when you sit with a pen and internet, then you will find that there are a lot of probable questions in them. There is no limit to these questions. These are there can be n number of questions, innumerable questions, plentiful of the questions which can be formulated. So it's always better if you form as many questions as possible because it will provide you confidence and there will be very little surprise element in the interview board, which will be obviously in your favor. So point number 18 is about the how many times have you appeared for this particular CAPFC examination. So if you have appeared for more than once, then they may ask you that why you were failed in the previous attempts, what changes in the strategy you made this time that you made it through the written part. So these questions can be asked. Then this is point number B. So you have to write the years you have if you have taken the examination before. So I have covered around 80 to 90% of the probable question from the DF, and I'll be coming up with more probable questions in my subsequent videos. And as I have said that there is no limit to the questions, so do as many questions as possible for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.